Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. A family trip to Japan has turned to Abriba dance in the palace of the Ooni of Ife, as we are hearing allegedly. Kabiesio. Long live to our king, the Ooni of Ife. Long live to Queen Naomi. Long live to, the Udua descendant across the globe. And may God bless each and every one of you. With due respect, I speak, okay? And it's important to understand that these are all alleged information, okay? Okay, so very quickly, we are hearing that, a family trip to Japan has turned to Abriba dance in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. Do you know what Abriba dance is? Abriba dance is that dance that they used to jump up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, as we are hearing this report, they said that the Ooni of Ife had proposed a family trip to Japan, and that family trip was not meant for the entire wives, but the way the information filtered through to them was wrong. It was, the information came as though the trip was meant for all of them, and there was this huge celebration in the palace of the Ooni of Ife because everybody thought that at last we are all going to make a trip with our golden, human being. That's the Ooni of Ife. Now, we do know that we hear about basketballs here and there, but it's important for us to also bear in mind that for these women to want to be with the king, the Ooni of Ife, is because they have seen something they love in the man. It might be because of money, affluence, pedigree, or anything, but it's because they love that which they are seeing, and it's because they love that which they are seeing that is making them want to stay associated with the king. So they said that when this news filtered to the wives that and there was going to be a family trip to Japan, that the Ooni of Ife was busy preparing a family trip to Japan, that they were very, very excited. And everybody was thinking that Ooni of Ife wanted to make it up to all of them. You do know that, after the marriage, we heard stuff about a honeymoon here, honeymoon there that did not work out. They said a lot of them were thinking that the Ooni had finally made up his mind to do the honeymoon with them, not knowing that the trip to Japan was not meant for them. The trip to Japan is actually meant for Olori Naomi. And now this brings Naomi to the center stage again, where they'll begin to dissect Naomi. What is it that she has? Who is she? What is she using? Why does the king love her so much? Is it because of Tadenikawo? Because they always ask this question, that why is it that the king chooses Queen Naomi over everybody? Is it because of Tadenikawo? Because in their opinion, there is nothing that Queen Naomi has that they do not have. Now, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Dela Rap. I bring you fresh and spicy just from the south. It's still on the royals. Dela writes, my Dela writes, my Dela writes, my super people. Dela writes, my Dela writes, my Dela writes, my super people. I love you guys so much. The week is coming to an end. I hope that you are able to find some time to rest, okay? I wish you all the best. If you're here and you're yet to subscribe, kindly go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell, and do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so as we are hearing, allegedly is that a family trip to Japan has turned to Abriba dance, as the women decided that, at the end of the day, they are either going to make the trip with Kabiesi and Naomi, or there will be no trip at all. Now, as we heard this information, they said that the Ooni of Ife had made arrangement for to have a family trip with Queen Naomi to Japan, that Ooni is preparing to make a trip to Japan for some event, and he decided he was somewhat going to make the trip a family trip so he can use this opportunity and go and spend some time with Queen Naomi and Tadenikawo, allegedly. If everything we are hearing is to be true, this is the information. And so now, that family trip to Japan, the information did not filter through well to the wives, whoever brought this information. For some reason, everything that, is ongoing in the palace of the Ooni of Ife, they get to hear it. And the other time we heard that they were going to take some kind of oath to ensure that anything that has to do with the Oni stays with the Oni. But I don't know what is delaying that, because if that happens, people like us may likely not be getting gist as much as possible. And of course, you know, but of course, the social media space is there. We always somehow are able to get some gist out. And so right now, what is going on, the same. Now the information got to the wives and they were very, very happy, because they thought that for once Oni was going to make them, you know, be together, as in go together. We heard about the honeymoon the other time, last March, when the Ooni of Ife married these women. We heard that it was Auntie Ibe that started the honeymoon thing, and later Auntie Blow Blow started honeymoon thing, and all of that. At the point when the honeymoon thing became so much, it wasn't going to be like a united honeymoon for everyone to go. Everyone wanted to pick their own date and time for honeymoon. And the monarch looked at it and said, "Omo, this is not going to work, because I am a very busy king. If I am going to make it a honeymoon year, therefore means I would not do any other thing." At that time, we were about to enter the next political dispensation. And you do know that Ooni of Ife is very involved in politics, okay, making the selection, okay, or contributing to making the selection. And so he had to use that as a yardstick to cancel the honeymoon. And he said there shall be no honeymoon, because he was very, very involved in, you know, the elections at the time. So right now, when the trip to Japan came up, we heard that they thought that Oni was trying to make it up to them. You do know that we have heard that they cry a lot about marginalization, where like the Oni chooses to be loving to others and not being loving to others and all of that. So they thought that because of the cry of marginalization, because Ooni of Ife is a man who hears, and Oni has decided to make it up to them by, you know, fixing a honeymoon trip. Only to find out that this trip is actually for Queen Naomi. They said there is an arrangement for the Ooni of Ife to go to Japan with Queen Naomi and with Ade Nikawo for a holiday. We've heard about the other holiday, and now and again there is a Japan holiday. And the wives are very upset, allegedly, that if Ooni is going to continue to behave like this, they are going to stand up and ensure that this does not continue to happen. For the Japan trip, they said that it's either they all go together, or the Ooni of Ife is not going to go anywhere with Olori Naomi alone. So now my question is this: how come we see this over and over, where some wives are reacting and others are not reacting? We have seen Ooni of Ife fix a date for a trip here and there, even without Dr. Elizabeth, but you never get to hear that Dr. Elizabeth came out to oppose. And you certainly don't get to hear, at least from places where I get my own gist from, I never get to hear that Dr. Temitope comes out to kind of oppose any decision Ooni of Ife makes concerning Queen Naomi, except those days when they first started. And so my thing is that, how is it, or how does it work? Like a man has this many wives, and everything he tries to do for the most senior wife and his most loving wife, and others are always fighting, and these other two are quiet. Why are they so quiet? And is it not just because they have a lot of respect and they're trying to show understanding and care for their husband? And I think this is what we see in those days, where a woman will do anything and everything just to satisfy their husband. And kudos to these women who are very, very supportive to the Ooni of Ife. So as we are hearing the gist now, they say immediately they found out that the trip is not for every one of them. We heard that they all gathered their passport to go and, you know, leave it at the, of course, the passage that leads to the chamber of the Ooni of Ife. Of course, there is a table around there where they say the king, there's something he does, like a place where he drops stuff before he goes inside. They said that they had to send, you know, the housekeeper to the Ooni of Ife that takes care of the chamber, a man. They say that man has been with him for over 15 years. He was with him even before he became the Ooni of Ife. They had to give him those passports to take, so he can give the passport to the Ooni of Ife. And basically what they are asking is that they need visa in their own passport, because as a matter of fact, they need Japan visa in their passport, because this time they are going by force. So right now, the approach is that like what is in the word of God, that even the kingdom of God suffered violence, and only the violent taketh it by force. These women are ready to take everything by force. But what is important is for them to understand that this is a man's heart, okay? It's not some kind of toy. Sometimes we tend to really fall in love so deeply that we cannot even be helped. Right now, I do think that the Ooni of Ife is in love so deeply with Olori Naomi that no matter what anybody tries to do, that of course, if you try to force him to leave Naomi, or you try to force him out of Naomi's life, it will just further estrange Ooni from your own life. So any wise person will understand that, to be in the good book of the Ooni of Ife, you want to be in the good book of Olori Naomi. And I think that is the mindset that Timitokpe is using. And for me, I want to think that Timitokpe is really smart, because for you to be, I want, do you know that these women like Auntie Blow Blow and Auntie Igby, I want to believe that if they had decided a long time ago to retrace their step and decided to tilt toward Queen Naomi and try to bring Tadenikawo to the palace, like try to make effort to bring Tadenikawo and Queen Naomi to the palace, I think this situation would have been much better for them. And Olori Timitokpe knows that so well, and that is why she's hanging so firmly to Queen Naomi and doing everything to prove to Queen Naomi that she is on her side. So right now, they say that a trip to Japan has turned to a Briba dance. I'm going to bring you more update. Thank you.